Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the JLAMBCAST MMA show. I think I've lost count on what number we're on, but we're back again. Gonna go through some cover what's upcoming this weekend. We're also gonna kind of just breeze over the fight night that was just last Saturday. I didn't get to watch it live. I know. But and this is one of the cool things I want to talk about with ESPN Plus. So if you do miss the fight live, you know, it goes into their content library and you can watch the entire event, over again. I mean, obviously they're going to do that, but the cooler part is they'll actually clip and you can pay attention to a certain fight that you missed. And that's kind of what I did to make up for lost time. I didn't put on the entire event, obviously, because I was out of town running up an extremely high bar tab. But guess what? It was worth it. It was worth it. I was back in Aggie Land, hitting all my go-to spots in Aggie Land. Saturday night, we hung out at World of Beer in Cause Station. They were gracious enough to host my wife's high school reunion. Fun night, fun time. Get to see family. Get to roam around my old stomping grounds. Yesterday and today, just kind of going over the fights. Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moises. You had Miesha Tate on the card. We had Jeremy Stevens on the card. So I'll go through and just kind of briefly pan over. It was actually not that bad of a card. I mean, we had a 10-fight card. So 5 on the prelims, 5 on the main card. Only 2 out of those 10 went to a decision. So the UFC didn't give us a lot of name value top to bottom on the card, but they did give us, some exciting finishes. So a lot of lower tiered, maybe unknown to the casual fan. Put on a show. Gave a lot of finishes, a lot of submissions, a lot of TKOs. So this weekend's fight, we'll be previewing that. A lot of name value on this card, and I'm very excited. It's probably one of the most exciting fight night cards that I've had this year. There's been several of them. This one checks some boxes for me, and I'll explain why. So other than that, let's see. In the news, we heard that Conor McGregor did have successful surgery. If you follow him on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, he's put it out there. He's already back to talking shit and has an unbreakable titanium rod in his leg now. So, like I said last week, all the reports are saying that he's looking at a 9 to 12 month window before we see him again. So I do wish him a speedy recovery, and something I want to touch on because I got into a couple of heated discussions about my take from last weekend, and I don't think I mentioned this in the podcast last week. It was it had the makings of the beginning. That first round was electric. Okay. I imagine that everybody in the T-Mobile Arena felt it from the moment Dustin Poirier walked out. Conor walked out first, then Dustin Poirier. It was electric in there. And after that first round, or before Conor broke his foot, it did look like just a great fight all around. Conor was landing shots. Dustin was landing shots. But I will say, Dustin had the upper hand. Conor, if he's going to win any fight, and history has shown us, the Nate Diaz fight both of the Nate Diaz fights. The Khabib fight, the Poirier fight number 2. That one was, if Conor's going to win, he's going to do it within the first 2 rounds. Conor's gas tank does not let up. Now I'm gonna put this scenario out there, and I'm not the only one with this take. I've heard it before, and I've seen it on several of the other podcasts that I do follow. So Dustin Poirier on 2 out of the 3 cards had been scored a 10-8 round in that first round. Losing round 1 for Conor is bad, but he can make up for it. He can win round 2. He's always dangerous for the knockout. We do know this. He does have lead in his hands. He can knock anybody out. I believe that. But going down 10-8, and I think it was deserved. I agree with both of those judges. Conor got desperate. He jumped for a very amateurish guillotine choke in the first round. The technique was bad. The setup was bad. It just came off as desperate. Dustin Poirier gets him to the ground, and really, Conor lands some shots off his back, but Dustin kept him there and landed some pretty nasty elbows, some pretty nasty shots, and that was the majority of this first round. So 10-8, yeah, absolutely. Now, for somebody that like Conor, who does not have the gas tank to go all 5 rounds, fades in the latter half of those rounds. 10-8 deficit out of round 1. That's very hard for Conor to overcome. Dustin Poirier's performance, he was seeing everything nicely. He was setting everything up nicely. And I just think, and that's the part that got a lot of kickback from me, is that I was a little harsh on Conor for his performance. It really was. If you've seen, some of the camps that specialize in chokes, front chokes, guillotines, there's strong people out there that have good chokes, that provide a good setup for it. And Conor was going to burn out his arms with the way he had that. It was just awkward. I understand if he was using it for a transition, but he wasn't using it for a transition. He was holding it there for a long time, even though he knew he didn't have it. And at that point, you let it go. Somebody with gas tank issues and burning out his muscles in his arms, where that's how you knock people out, is with your hands. In Conor McGregor's case, it didn't look good for the rest of the fight had he not have had that freak accident. So either way, I just wanted to explain that, and I did want to point out that 2 out of the 3 judges did score it at 10-8. So the writing's on the wall, and everybody's entitled to their opinions, but that's more or less where mine was coming from, is that I saw that setup as an amateur setup. I don't think it was smart on Conor's point. And then like I said, those scorecards, he had a lot of things stacked against him had this fight kept going. So, but again, like I said, I hope for a speedy recovery. I do hope that we see Conor back. I saw a comment from on last week's video. Somebody said that the Conor and Tony fight must happen now. I agree that must happen. But Connor, Max Holloway too. I can't get that out of my head either. Like that one gets me excited too. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Again, Dana White, famous words. We'll see how this all plays out. So next summer, we'll see where Dustin's at. We'll see where Tony Ferguson is at. We'll see where Connor is at, and put the right puzzle pieces together. And like I said, I hope that it's showcased on International Fight Week. I hope we have that back now, come 2022. So let's switch it over. UFC Fight Night, Makhachev versus Moises. I did notice they did have fans in the Apex, and that was awesome. That was awesome that they had that in there. Very exciting crowd. And, the comeback of Miesha Tate from her almost 5-year layoff. I think it was 4 and some change. Had 2 kids. I think they even said she's still nursing with her young one, and coming out and going through a full training camp. And Marion Renault's not a slouch by any means. So has put on some exciting fights, and a good test for Miesha Tate to come into. And she looked like a pro. I mean, she always looked like a pro, but she looked every bit the contender she was whenever she retired. So let's look down here. We'll go prelims first. Again, the 2 decisions right here: Malcolm Gordon versus Francisco Figueiredo. Sergey Morozov versus Khalid Taha. Those were your only 2 decisions. Amanda Lemos, an amazing, KO TKO of Montserrat Ruiz. I think that was the biggest betting line right there. The biggest favorite on the card was Amanda Lemos, but 35 seconds was highly impressive. Congrats to her. Daniel Rodriguez, who's been really up and coming. I mean, he's one of those names to watch. He had an impressive victory over Preston Parsons. Main card. There we go. Jeremy Stevens, knockout artist. Mateusz Gamrot. A little bit more on the unknown side. This was his a good showcase for him to get a name over, or a win over a big name opponent like Jeremy Heathen Stevens. Round 1, minute and 5 seconds in, gets the Kimura and submits Jeremy Stevens. So we didn't get the electricity that we normally get from Jeremy Stevens knocking people out. But it was a quick night. So that was surprising for me. And then like I said, next up we had Miesha Tate, Marion Renault. All the way into the 3rd round, Miesha Tate really pieced up Marion Renault, put on a champion level performance. And I wouldn't say that she looked, like she could walk right into the next fight and fight for a title. I do think that she needs maybe 1 or 2 more fights to really prove that she is still that elite level fighter. She was fighting somebody that was going into her retirement fight, Marion Renault, but Miesha did look great. I'm not gonna lie. And I have a ton of respect for the moms in the UFC. Anybody that's had a kid and come back from that and still be an elite level athlete is highly impressive. We have another one on the card this week, Hannah Goldie. She's a mom. I think her son's like 4 years old. If I'm wrong, I know, but he's a younger son, and she is just a savage. So a lot of these willing to have kids and still, kick ass like that. It's awesome. Islam Makhachev, coached by Khabib. Coach Khabib, his new venture now that he's retired, and his prize fighter Islam Makhachev, who is going into the weekend was ranked number 9. Thiago Moises number 14. So a good top 15 battle. Makhachev got the job done. Round 4 submission. Islam Makhachev, I really want to see a top 5 opponent next for him. I think he's ready to make that jump in the lightweight division, and there's a logjam in the lightweight division. So getting him somebody in that top 5, that's exactly what needs to happen at this point. So I hope that is next for him, and we'll go from there. So let's switch over to this weekend's fight. We have, if it'll load here, Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw, former bantamweight champion, is making his comeback. I know this fight was scheduled back a couple of months ago. I want to say May or June, and due to an injury or I can't remember if it was injury or COVID, but it got delayed. Nonetheless, we're towards the end of July 24th, getting that fight and excited for it. So, well, like I said, a lot of name value here. We'll go through Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw, bantamweight division. The odds have Sandhagen as the -180 favorite. Dillashaw plus 155. It's very, very close betting line on that one. Corey Sandhagen, this is a risk for him. A very big risk for him, being the number 2 bantamweight, and TJ Dillashaw coming back. Of course, being the former bantamweight champion, but nonetheless, being gone that long, you lose your ranking. So he's unranked opponent. Corey Sandhagen number 2. That just, I look at it as a big risk, but Sandhagen not afraid. He wants to test himself against the best, and all due respect to that. I mean, that's what you're here for, boys. So co-main is Aspen Ladd, always exciting fighter, versus Miesha Tate, and a huge fan of both of these fighters. Miesha fighting out of Louisiana, Aspen Ladd, believe fights out of Colorado. Could be wrong. Could be way wrong. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, really don't do that. But either way, I like both of these girls. I'm excited to see that fight. I'm glad it's not on a pay-per-view, because I hate it when two of my favorite fighters, or two fighters that I like, face off with each other. It's tough to make a decision on that one and how it's going to play out. Kyler Phillips, another young, exciting name, bantamweight division, number 14 in the bantamweight division, versus Rulian Paiva, number 12. Darren the Damage Elkins, who has always puts on some exciting fights. That's going to be a good one in the featherweight division. Darren Elkins has probably one of the worst tattoos in the UFC. Has the Damage tattooed across his chest. Speaking of chest, let's check this out. Yeah, let me switch it over, because I know you can't see in that little corner. But I got my What's Up Everybody t-shirt. My What's Up Everybody t-shirt from the What's Up Everybody podcast. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson just fought on the pay-per-view a couple weeks ago, and took the loss. But I'm still a huge fan. I like his podcast and super nice guy. So I only rep the ones I like. So, anyways, back to oh yeah, I was shitting on Darren Elkins' tattoo, and I probably shouldn't do that any longer because he would probably kick my ass. Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barber. Macy Barber, always a huge draw whenever she fights. A lot of eyes on her. Miranda Maverick, very impressive up-and-coming fighter. That's another exciting one. Glad I don't have to pick a winner of that one. Welterweight division, Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams. Mickey Gall, of course you know him because he kicked CM Punk's ass, and Jordan Williams is an exciting welterweight. This is a good fight to tune into. This is our main card. Like I said, this is a very exciting main card. Prelims wise, Punahele Soriano versus Brendan Allen. That's a great middleweight fight. Shamil Abdurrahmanov. Yep, got that one wrong. Versus Chris Daukaus. A good heavyweight fight. Nasruddin Imavov. Not Imavov. Versus Ian Heinisch. That's, again, you know who Ian Heinisch is. Adrian Yanez versus Randy Costa. Under the radar bantamweight bout, Julio Arce versus Andre Ewell. Ewell, an exciting bantamweight, very long bantamweight fighter. That's a good one. Sajar Eubanks versus newcomer Elise Reed. Diana Belbita versus, again, like I said, moms represent, Hannah Goldie. So super excited to see what's going on this Saturday, July 24th. Looks like early start time. It looks like 6. No, that's normal start time. 6 p.m. Central. UFC Apex. And get that out of here. Sorry about that. UFC Apex on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So okay, so it is an early start time. All right, so prelims do start. I see it right there. Just circling it with my teal cursor there. 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. on the East Coast. Start for the early prelims, and then main card starts at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. So, yeah, tune in. We'll be back next week, and that'll be our big preview show for our next pay-per-view. And I am definitely excited for that. Derek Lewis, Cyril Gahn. For the interim heavyweight title. That's going to be a fun one. I'm excited to preview that one for all of you guys. And no, 2 more weeks. Sorry about that. 2 more weeks. I lied. Kill me. Sorry. That's what happens. Film these unscripted. I ain't scared. But so yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll preview this one and recap this exciting fight night card. And I don't know what else to say, folks. But that's it. We'll see you next time.